Setting up leaderboards part 3. In this part, we want to display those values inside construct2. First thing, we notice that in this example from Facebook, we only got get rank and get score. We also need the player name. Looking in the Facebook SDK page, we have a hint that the player name should be get like this. Let's see if it works. We paste this here with entries and 0.0. We also need to close this brace. It's closed. Okay, and same thing for 1, even though 1 doesn't exist for the moment. We could also get the photo of the player via get photo. It's maybe it's useful. Let's add this to console2. So instead of get name, get photo. Let's run the game with those console entries to make sure they run okay. We have to copy the runtime, not from here, from our working directory into construct folder. Okay, open construct2. Meanwhile, let's set up the private window with the game. Close here and add here to the game, and also turn on my screen went black. Okay, back to normal. Web developer, web console, and back to construct2. We open our test project. Right click here, export. And into our export project, don't forget to run the script. Reload the game into our private browsing session. And on get leaderboard, I should get my name and my photo ID. Yes, this is my name and a link to my photo, which should be my photo, but yes, it's my photo from Facebook. Great. So now we have all the information needed inside the runtime JS. If you are using other engine and not construct2, you can manipulate these objects and get a representation of the leaderboard on your own, depending on what engine are you using. For construct2, we need to define those expressions. We need to define the entries length, and for the moment we assume that we only have one rank, one score, one player name, and one photo. And we will use ranks, scores, players, names or names, and photos. Inside one string we will put names like this: hi, name 2, name 2, etc. And this will be ranks, no ranks, names. They will be sent to construct2 like this, and we will manipulate them inside construct2 in order to get a representation. But for the moment, since we have only one entry, we will use names equal to this. It's a shortcut, a first step in order to represent the leaderboard, and in the next video we will make the fully implementation after we get some new scores in order to see that if it's correct or not. Okay, so we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new expressions. First, it's a return number we copy from this expression because we want to, the ID is 8, return number leaderboard length, leaderboard leaderboard return the leaderboard okay, and we have the other 4. Get score should be again number, ID should be 8 plus 1 means 9, and here we should type leaderboard scores because we will have many scores, not just one score. Here leaderboard scores, return the leaderboard scores. Number, be careful with typos. After score, in fact before score we have rank, which is again number, so this will be 9, this will be 10. Return number leaderboard ranks, leaderboard ranks, return the leaderboard ranks. Okay, after ranks we have names and photos, which are string. In fact, it's better to copy from here and paste here. Leaderboard names, I've said. Leaderboard names. Return the leaderboard names with capital N. Okay, and now we have photos last expression. 12 leaderboard photos, leaderboard photos, my leaderboard photos. Okay, we can save this. And now here we have those variables, and let's implement new ones. So first it's leaderboard length, leaderboard length, leaderboard. The second one it's leaderboard ranks, scores, ranks, leaderboard scores, leaderboard names, leaderboard photos. So there are 5 variables. Great. And now into our expressions. Let's see where they are. We have a sample expression here. Let's search expression. Yes, expressions here where player ID, player name. Let's copy paste from here and paste it here. We have, instead of player score, we have leaderboard length. This name should match this one, so we can copy paste in order to be sure I have not made any typos. Return int, and this should return leaderboard length that we've set up in the beginning of this file. Also, this leaderboard length should be set up as let's see where I've inside get leaderboard. It should be this yes, here. So console log entries length, but we also need to place leaderboard length equals to entries point length. Yes, my length is typed wrong, but sorry for my English. Okay. Here we have only one. We will make like this in this video, and we will modify later. Leaderboard ranks equals to entries point get rank, semicolon. Leaderboard scores equals to entries point get score, and final two, leaderboard names with only one S, entries is this string here. Okay, and the final one is leaderboard photos. This one is not as it should be, and instead of get name we should have get photo. Okay, and in final expressions we should have the length and the ranks which are a string, leaderboard ranks, leaderboard ranks. Ranks are a string because the ranks will look like this in our final prototype. Let me see if I put here return string. Yes, I did it wrong. It should be return string here. For only one rank it will be okay, but for multiple ranks and scores it will not be okay. Okay, ranks is set up. Now we have scores, names, 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 and final one is photos. Photos are not actually a photo, it's photos URLs. Photos. Okay, now it should work, but it's our first test. Don't expect to work from the first time. Let's copy files from our work folder into construct plugin folder and replace them. And let me pause the video here. In the next step we will see that if they work in Construct2. Leaderboards. Our next goal is to create a leaderboard, set score and get scores. Let's create a leaderboard, and according to SDK let's have the same naming conventions like here. Let's call the leaderboard my leaderboard, and under my first instance game we can make the leaderboard contextual, which restricts the leaderboard to some context, but let's make it global. Higher it's better. And now we got the leaderboard. First thing we want to do is to set score. This is get score. Okay, now we've got So in order to set the score, you have to use the function setScoreAsync. And we got here the example where we first get the leaderboard, and then we return and set score with the value, and there is additional metadata that can be associated with the score that must be less than 2 kilobytes in size. Let's run this function, and also we inside this function we have this get score function that gets the score from the player. Back to our plugin, we have I already did this. We got set score in action and get score. Let's search for get score. And we got the get score function implemented as the SDK told us to do. Let's reorganize our project a little bit. Let's make my photo smaller, add the text behind here, and make a group called player variables, and add all those functions inside this group, and add another group called leaderboard, and we will code here and add those events under the group leaderboard. Let's create a new button set score. Make the text set score, and let's create another button called button get score, text get score, and we will use another button get leaderboard. Get leaderboard. Okay, let's save it, and we want on button set score on clicked, we want Facebook instant to set score leaderboard, which is my leaderboard. Let's set the score to 1, and score metadata, you can attach a score metadata like we have here. We can copy paste this, but I don't know if it's useful or not. I think it's not useful because I don't find it useful, but if you find it useful and have a game design that uses metadata for score, you can use it. Okay, let's hit done, and for saving we use the export project, set up the export to be under our export folder, export the project, wait for the export to finish. Okay, and now I've created a script while I created a script that automatically deletes this index that is created and replaces with the new one. So when I hit the script, my index HTML5, which I have to reload, let's check it, that contains the reference to Facebook instant script, so it's okay, my script runs fine. And now we get back to our test game here. Let's have the console, web developer, web console, and under get score, under set score, we have this console log, which is reaches to score, and we should have the console log get score and get extra data. Let's reload the game. We got some logs here that are not I think I have to reload it again. Remember the fact that I was saying that testing in private mode is better. Now I have to double click. We notice one problem with my face here. We want to keep the current size, and I think set score, it's this button over here. Yes, it's this button. So let's click the set score and see what happens in the console. I hit set score, reaches score 1, reaches score 1 is this entry in the console, and I've put the score 1, and automatically the console log entry get score is 1, and then we have no extra data. Let's try to put the extra data on the game. Score metadata is this one. Here we have something specific to construct2 or construct engine. If we have this I don't know how to call them in English, this character, we have to surround it with one more apostrophe, I guess it's called. I guess it should be double apostrophe, not one apostrophe. Still has a problem. Okay, let's export it. Not quite sure if it will work, but we will try. In order to reduce the size of the project, We can set the loader style to nothing to reduce the export size. Let's export it. Notice that the export got faster, and now back to our export project. We run the script and we hit reload. We hit reload another time for the game to load with the latest version. We notice that it isn't the latest version because we have our construct logo, which we disable it. Now we got, if you are not sure that your project is the latest version, you can make a text on your layout and say here version 1.x. Let's set score. And yes, my metadata isn't correctly put there. Let's see if I put the elf under just those one apostrophe, hit save, export the project, and wait again for the project to finish, run the script, reload double time, reload it once again. Set score, no, again we don't have. I guess my plugin isn't doesn't support the metadata parameter, but anyway I will check it later while not recording the video and come back to this issue. Let's have a look at get score, and under the get score we should have these logs, which is get3 and get score, also get rank, get score, get extra data. Let's hit get score. But we hit get score, but we don't have the events associated with get score, so let's clear this and make the button on get score on clicked Facebook instant get score from my leaderboard, and export the project. Run the script bat again. Reload it couple times. And now let's see what happens when I get score. Yes, the score in the variable is 1. The log here it's console log. The scoring variable is plus player score. Also, this triggers get score complete, which I can parse it into construct2 if you're using construct2 or construct3 on Facebook instant on get score complete. and make a global variable called player score, a number, system set value player score to Facebook instant point player score. Let's have a look at the event. So var that is called to this because we don't have access to this keyword under asynchronous functions. So that will trigger get score complete. If we search get score complete and find next, we have these triggered conditions, and the score is let's see, player score. We have to search a little more to see. Yes, here it's the expression. Again, those are only particular to construct 2. If you are using another engine, you should know what to do with those variables once you got them in the code. For the next video, we will have only to do the get leaderboard. I don't have it, so I will try to make it while recording the video to show you how to extend this plugin that I will give you under the source code sections. In order to enable test mode and not see the error that the feature is not available in your country, you simply have to go to web hosting here and upload a version to the server, and after that the local link will work. Sharing the game in Facebook Instant. There are two types of sharing, one as a wall post and one as a message. The message share, it's a little bit tricky, so let's start with the share as a wall post. There, when a game starts, you could get the context type using this line of code. Context type, it's Facebook instant.context.getType, and this returns a post, a thread, a group, or solo. Sharing the game is with the function share async. I've implemented also in the game share async. This is the function implemented here. Normally you want to, in other engines, to only call this function. Let's create it. Let's create two buttons in the game. Button share, wall post, and create another button message. On the wall post, when button share is clicked, Facebook Instant share async. Share async doesn't take any parameters, but normally you want to customize the image that you can put it here, the text, and the data that is replay data, And the replay data is important because can be retrieved at the start of the game, but by get entry point data. Get entry point data. Entry point data also in the documentation. Entry point data. It says here the data must be less or equal to 1000 characters. Okay, so now I can share async. Let's study the share as message, and then we test both of them. Share as a message happens when let's add this first, and Facebook instant choose async. No, choose async, sorry. Choose async, it's another function, it's update async. Update async, yes. Facebook instant update async, and here we have the blue text, normal text, normal, and the data should be entered as game mode 1. Okay. In the documentation, update async informs Facebook of an update occurs in the game. This usually sends a message to the, you can choose a player where to send the message. Let's see it in action. Again, we export the project. We have to choose the default path here. My default path is set in another folder because I'm not creating Facebook instant games full time. Okay. Exporting project. And then we wait. And when it's finished, again we have to replace the index.html file with the previous one, and then on Facebook we reload this page, and we should see the both buttons. Let's wait for the page to load. And now we have the two buttons. Let's click wall. This prompts me to make a post. I'll make the post only me because the game is not public. And here I have the image I've set up, and a default text that I can change here. If I hit post, I can see it in my Facebook. Let's see it. Another tab and Facebook. Facebook starts to load very slow. I don't know why, maybe it's because of my recording. And this is my post with change text and image may contain flower. This is the game. Now I clicked under my profile. Yes, and you see how I shared the game. Now back on our private tab on Firefox. We got the second button with the message. This button, I click it, but nothing happens. Let's reload the game. Yes, it's my error, unfortunately. I've on that button message on clicked. I have to re-export the game. Sorry about this. That's why we got this error here that is hidden right now. Okay, now I have to reload the game here. If I press wall, I am prompted to make a wall post and I'm closing it. Yes, I want to discard the changes, and when I hit this button, missing after property list. Okay, something is missing, but I don't know where. Yes, here it's missing the final bracket. Now you see that why it's important to reduce the time of the export, because mistakes happen and you will have to export multiple times. Imagine how it works if I had to wait 10 minutes for an export. Luckily for me, I work with a lightweight client. And now let's see, when I hit message, nothing happens. Let me see it from another game I have, because I'm not sure what function is using. It should be update async, but let's be certain. Normally you would have here the tab where you choose your friends, but let's wait for the verification on button invite. Let's see here, invite. Yes, we have to choose async. We have to choose async, so Facebook instant choose async, and then on Facebook instant on choose async complete we have to update async. Choose async is the fact that the tab with friends appear, and when this resolves means you have chosen a friend, the friend is getting update with this text. Let's again export the project, and now it should work. Go back to construct 2. Back on my test page. The game is loading, and now we should click here, and now I have this invite to play, and let's invite my test user. Let's switch to Chrome. And wait for the page to load. Unfortunately, Facebook occupies so much memory then that it hangouts my system. Let's see what okay, this is the blue text normal, and this is the image. If I hit play here, and let's see on the console, I think I have to interrupt this Facebook because this Firefox, because it's occupying me so much memory. Let's in the console we have between ajunge la get. No, not here. Entry point data. Let me see how I've put this entry point data. Okay, between this console log, let's see it. And this is game mode 1 that was sent from my original account. Notice here that the game is different because we haven't uploaded the build. In order to upload the build, you have to zip all the contents here, and in your dashboard, let's see if my first instant game it's uploaded. Unfortunately, my first the app I created for this video is not doesn't have the green light, so I'll have to use another app I've created for one of my clients. Here has the green light. This again, it's a test. The real app is not this, but under instant games, web hosting, here I have, as you see, 74 versions that I've tested. I took a lot of tests, and let's zip these files and call them Udemy tests. Upload version, browse, and go to this folder, and now it's called Udemy test. Open, and then you upload. Wait for the scanning process to finish, and push to production. I've input my password, and the app is pushed to production. And now here, when I load the game, it should load our test game. Notice with the screen that is our test game. This is the new picture, and here in the console we have the same game mode is 1 that was triggered from our original game. My procedure of working and minimum requirements. In order to develop a plugin for Construct 2, I'll have these files that are already modified with some functions, And after I modify the edit time and run time from my custom folder, I will replace them inside this folder in C program files construct to exporters HTML5 plugins, and my plugin is called FB Instant. After I made the modification, I'll go back to the game and then export the game, set up the export in the folder where I created the web server under this one, export. Now the export should happen very fast, almost 10 seconds. And then here I have to make another modification. I have an index copy, and this index copy contains this link to Facebook Instant. Let's update the version. It's 6.2, the latest. When you will see these videos, maybe there are other versions. And this is the line I modified into my index HTML5. And this has to be replaced with the original index HTML5 that is exported via the game, that doesn't have this line included. So I'll quit those, and this one goes delete, and this one is pasted as index HTML. Okay. Now inside the game we need to add the plugin FB Instant, add it to the game. The minimum requirements for a project to work is to have inside on create, this means when the game is loaded, has to have this function FB Instant initialize asynchron. This function ends, let me see where it ends right here. Inside it we need to have set loading progress to put to 100 when the game has finished loaded, and when the game has finished loaded we have to put another asynchronous function, start game async. Then we can get the player name, photo ID, etc. In documentation, let's see it on Firefox. We have let's search for it. Initialize async. Initialize the SDK library. This should be called before any other SDK platform functions. So this function has to be called on create on or when the game is loaded, depending on your engine. Set loading progress is another function that needs to be implemented, and there is a number between 0 and 100 that need to be passed into the function depending on how many assets are loaded. We don't know how many assets are loaded, so we set loading progress to 100 after all the assets are loaded. Those are the minimum requirements for Facebook instant game to be approved. And after that, we will look on how to get local, get platform, SDK version of the Facebook instant game SDK, and the player ID, etc. We will see in the next video. Getting player data. When the player connects, we have this data: player name, player picture, and player ID. In edit time .gs, we have these expressions: player ID, player name, and player photo. Let's add an event when Facebook instant entry point complete, and then we add a text set text as player ID and Facebook instant dot player ID, and player name and Facebook instant as player name. Let's make a new sprite here. And sprite load image from player photo. Okay, let's save our project, export. Again, we have to wait for the export to finish and then replace this index HTML file and then test our game. Let's see if it works. I think I should make this page on a private window so the game will automatically have the latest version, because now I have to wait to refresh couple times. Let's add a new private window and web developer, web console. Okay, I must log in. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Let's try something else, and not Facebook instant on entry point complete. This should be, yes, should be yes, on entry point complete should be right here. Let's test it once again. Now I need to copy a runtime from my folder to the plugins folder. Continue. Now back to construct 2, disable this event, export project to HTML website, export, then wait for the export to finish. Delete the index.html5, again copy this, back to Firefox, and now let's see if I have to reload couple times, even if it's in private window. On Chrome it used to work without reloading. Again, nothing happens. Let's see, make another text 2, and say here text 2, and say on entry point complete. Let's add a new event on entry point complete, text to delete. How do you delete? Destroy. And here on start of the layout, on start of the layout, and let's add some wait of 1 second. I don't know why it doesn't work. Let's export the project again to see where the problem is. Again, we have this procedure of replacing the index.html file, and back to the Firefox. Yes, the problem was that on entry point wasn't triggered. Now we have the profile picture, the text, but we have another problem, that this text is too small. Let's make it bigger in order to display all the info that is necessary. These two. Okay, let's investigate the problem later. Let's export the project once again. go back to replacing the index.html file, and then on Firefox, on private window, I'll have to reload the game in order to see. Now we have my ID and my player name, which is Mihai, and my photo from Facebook. You can also see the logs here. This is the log that I've added to the console between Ajunge H4 and Ajunge H5. It's here, console log player ID, and I have entry point data and player picture link. You can also get with the same procedure other data. Entry point data we will see in another video, but you can get the platform in which the player is running, and SDK version, and local. Setting up the development environment. In order to quickly test the instant game implementation, we have to do some tricks. If you have a basic construct2 project and you modify it, let's say you put the text here, you can quickly preview the game by running the layout. And now the start preview happens almost instant, and you preview the changes. Unfortunately, Facebook Instant doesn't work with preview, and you have to export the project. If you have a massive project with hundreds of or tens of megabytes, the export process will take minutes or even 10 minutes or even more. That's why, in order to test the functions of instant games, you must create a lightweight game using just buttons and text to implement it. And after you know that when you trigger that event, you can implement it on your real game and then have just one or two tests. That's why we are using a lightweight game, basically just buttons and text, to make sure that our instant game platform implementation it's okay. Now I have to export the project. I haven't done anything. We will create a custom plugin, but after you export the project, you must export it in this directory and then test it. In the next videos, we will look at how to create a custom plugin for Facebook Instant. If you are using other game engines, just look at the code and implement it in your own engine. It's pretty straightforward. What kind of games are accepted in the instant game platforms? We notice here that all instant games must be built with HTML5 technology. So you must use an HTML5 game engine, not Flash. There are some suggestions here using Babylon.js, Cocos, Construct3, Default, GameMaker Studio 2. I personally prefer Construct engine. Construct3 is the latest implementation of Construct engine. but they have an plugin to use the instant games, but the plugin is not fully featured. So for this course, I've decided to create my own plugin, but for Construct 2 that can be eventually ported to Construct 3. We will also look at the code if your favorite engine is Game Maker Studio or Cocos or pure JavaScript. So you can apply the knowledge learned here to your favorite game engine. And that's it. Setting up the development environment. This is a very important step that you will do it only once. So be very careful. In order to test your game, you can either set up a local server using instructions from this page, Facebook Developers Instant Games Test Publish Share, or you can either go here in Instant Games and Web Hosting, and here you can upload a version to your game. In order to save time, you must set up the local environment in order to test the game. But in order to enable others to test your game, testers of your app, you must upload this build. Let's have a look on how to set the local server and test it. First thing, you must install npm with install instructions from Node.js site. Basically, you're going here, download the latest version for 16 bits Windows. I guess you're on Windows and now everybody has a 64-bit system. Now you download, install it, and you will have a folder called on Node.js, and you will have npm command line on your system. Now you can run a command line, and if you hit npm, it should not say that the npm is not available. If it says so, you'll have to go to environment variables. Let's edit the system environment variables, and you have to have on your path here you will have to have the or your Node.js install folder. Okay, now you should have npm command available. Let's close this, and the next step, you have to run this command, but you will have to run command line as administrator. Let's run as administrator in order to complete the task as administrator. Step 2 will be to create a private key and a certificate via OpenSSL. As you notice, there isn't any link to OpenSSL. I've done many Google search to OpenSSL for Windows 10, and you have to download it from here. I will also make a zip. Okay, I accept my privacy. Release Here I put it in my C folder on OpenCCL, and for this step you will have to make manually on environment variables in order to be able to run OpenSSL. I've already did that. So basically OpenSSL, it's a user variable to see OpenSSL bin folder, and under the path here I have the same folder. Basically you will download here the version for 16 bits. Let's do this. Okay, save file. I think I have it in others related, and I've already have it. Let's go to that folder. Let me see where I have it. Others related. It's here. And basically you will copy this OpenSSL folder into your C drive in order to have a short path, but you can use also this path and edit in environment variables. Okay, now after you do this, you can verify your OpenSSL installation and acceptance in environment variable by opening a command prompt and type OpenSSL, and you should not have any error. After you complete this step, you can go to, first you have to define a path where you will reside the game. I've already did this, and my game is on this folder, FB Instant Web Server. This is the installation of HTTP Server 2, and after that you have to generate those keys, key.pem and certificate.pem, and those files will be basically generated on your C OpenSSL. Here you'll have to go to change directory C OpenSSL, and you will have these generated certificates that you will copy inside your directory here. Here I have, or you can go directly to this directory and generate certificates right here in this folder. Notice that you'll have cert and key. You can make a backup of those two files, because if you delete everything here and copy something new, you will lose those certificates and the web server will not work. The reason for generating those certificates is to run secure server via HTTPS. In order to run this server, you have to run this command using command line as administrator, and you should see this prompt coming up. I've already did this, so after I've opened a new command prompt as administrator, I go to my D drive, change directory to my installation of HTTP server, and then run the command as Facebook says, and the HTTP server is live. Now Facebook says that I should be able to test my game using this link. Let's see. I've opened a new tab, paste, and you have to replace your own game ID with your own game ID. You have to click here to copy, go to another tab, and here inside the directory I have a game that you don't have, but let's have a look. You'll notice that the server is running by looking here that he receives requests. You will get, if you just enable your game, you will see this error message. You can Google it, but you will not have any answers. I figured it out on my own, that you have to have the green dot here, meaning that the app has been approved for testing. If I switch to another test game I have, click to copy my ID and replace this ID with the former ID I have. Now this feature suddenly became available in my country, and I'm able to test it. And the game suddenly appeared. Notice that in logs of the server, they the logs are being registered with this date, June 01, 2018. Another thing I would like to present you is that I'm using Firefox for one reason. It used to work in Chrome too, but I don't know for what reason the web server didn't works anymore on Chrome. I think it's a Facebook issue, and it should be solved soon. Let's see, yesterday it wasn't working. Maybe today they fixed it. We should see here using Chrome requests from Facebook, but let's see what happens. If it doesn't receive request, it will stay like this forever, and it will not load the game. Apparently they don't fix the error, so make sure you test on different browsers in order to get the desired result. Let's create our first instant game app. In order to create an app, you have to be a registered developer on Facebook. In order to do that, you must have a verified Facebook account. You can do it with your mobile phone number or with your credit card. In order to create an app, you have to go to developers.facebook.com and under My Apps, add new app. Under display name, it's just a test. Let's call it first instant app or game. First instant game. This is my email, create app ID. Yes, I'm not a robot, and submit. Now we have this app ID, and in order to have instant game, we have to set up instant games here. We click setup. Use instant game, yes. Short description, you have to type something. Short description. Long description. Long description. Tagline, these are tags. Let's say action, platformer, etc. Publisher, it's me. Category, you have to define what kind of game do you have. Let's say puzzle. Orientation, portrait or landscape. Let's leave it portrait. And here you need to add some images. Let's save changes. In order to be able to test your game, you have to insert the images here. I've already created some test images, so let's go there and upload the images. Under game projects, construct to Facebook instant art. Those are the images. App icon, it's 100, 110, 24. Sorry, my bad, doesn't work with drag and drop. You have to click edit here, choose file, and now let's go to game projects, construct to Facebook instant art, and then select the images from here. Small app icon, it's 16 by 16. Let's select the image. Cover image, it's 800 by 150 pixels. As you notice, for test I've created the same image and resize it, but for a normal game you would want to make images using the art style of your game. And this is the splash image. That should be the dimensions you've noticed in the video. There is also an app video that is necessary. I've made this should be a video of your gameplay. For now it's just for testing purposes, so I've made just a short video in order to be able to test the game. Okay, and now we have the game set up. We must have a privacy policy URL. Let's make a website. They don't check it right now. And when we hit this button, we will make this app public, but we don't want to do that. In the next video, I will show you how to test the instant game platform and using the instant games. And see you in the next video. Let's have a look at some instant games. First of all, the instant games can be found at this address, facebook.com/instantgames, and here you can have a collection of games. Let's have a look at a game called Everwing, and you hit play. Here the game is loading. There is a loading progress with bar on top and some images, and when the game is 100% loaded, you'll get this is a dialogue, and here it's a normal gameplay. There is another possibility of games called the test, where it's like a turn-based game where you choose a friend. I have a test user, and now you answer some questions. I don't know what I'm answering right now. And now I've sent a message to my test user, which is also my friend. And when the test user will hit play with this button, he will have my answers inside his gameplay, and he will be able to guess what I have answered. This is a great feature of instant games, and we will see in this course how to make games like this.